Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta
Reading from Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, Chapter 3, text number 26. Yuga Dhamma Pravartana Haya Amshahaiti Amavina Anyanare Raja Premadite. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. My plenary portions can establish the principles of religion for each age. No one but me, however, can bestow the kind of loving service performed by the residents of Vraja. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So here the talk is about the plenary portions of the Supreme Lord. And the purpose is also given is to establish principles of religion. And more important than that, it says only Krishna can bestow loving service that is being performed by Brajavasis. So it is not dependent on us. We just perform devotional service with sincerity and seriousness and then leave the result to Krishna. It is up to him to decide when to give us the seed of devotion, when that will fructify, when the love for the Supreme Lord will be bestowed to us. So all that is dependent only on Krishna, because everything comes from Krishna. The seed of devotion, pure bhakti, pure love, intelligence, like we learned in chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says that when someone worships me with love and devotion, I give them the intelligence to know me. So we cannot know Krishna just by reading books or hearing lectures. No, it has to come from Krishna. And when Krishna sees our sincere endeavors, that is when he will bestow that mercy upon us. And also important is that we get the mercy of Guru also. And Guru and Krishna, when they are pleased, in fact, if the Guru is pleased, Krishna is automatically pleased. And the Guru is pleased only when we follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Now, here he's talking about the plenary portions. And one plenary portion is in each one of us. That is Lord Vishnu in the form of Paramatma within our heart, that we've already learned. But in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 26, it is said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is the original person of the Vishnu categories, expands himself in two different categories, namely integrated plenary portions and separated parts and parcels. These separated parts and parcels are the servitors, and the integrated plenary portions of Vishnu Tattvas are the worshipful objects of service. So, all demigods who are empowered by the Supreme Lord are also separated parts and parcels like we are. We are not Vishnu Tattvas. Demigods are not Vishnu Tattvas. They do not belong to the category of Vishnu Tattva. He's talking about the demigods. The Vishnu Tattvas are living beings equally as powerful as the original form of the personality of Godhead, and they display different categories of power in consideration of different times and circumstances. One should never classify the Vishnu Tattvas or the plenary portions of Narayana, the personality of Godhead, in the same categories as parts and parcels, which means we are not on Vishnu Tattva. Demigods are not Vishnu Tattvas, and we are not on that platform, and we are not plenary portions. We are only parts and parcels of the Lord. I took another reference from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 3, verse 27, it says, all the rishis, Manus, demigods, and descendants of Manu, who are especially powerful, are plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. This also includes the Prajapatis. So here, this is the description given about plenary portions. There's a huge difference between that and parts and parcels. Let's see number 27. Santva avatara bhava pankaja nabhasya sarvato bhadran Krishnad anya kovalata sva api premado bhavati. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. There may be many all auspicious incarnations of the personality of Godhead, but who other than Lord Sri Krishna can bestow love of God upon the surrendered souls? Purport. This quotation from the writings of Bilva Mangala Thakur is found in the Laghu Bhagavatamrita 1.5.37. Again, we are getting some more knowledge. Who is it, right, who can get love of God? It is only surrendered souls. 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaga, give up all, abandon. He doesn't say give up, abandon. Abandon is a very strong word, right? If someone says, I abandon you, then we say, oh, that means I've been kicked out, right? So here Krishna is using a strong word, abandon, means just throw out all the religions that you are practicing, just surrender unto me. And the result will be, he says, aham tuam sarva papibhyo, that I will remove all, clear out all your past sinful reactions. Masuchaha, do not fear. So only Krishna can bestow love for him. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and everything comes from him. We learned in Bhagavad Gita, right? Chapter 10. Aham sarvasya prabho mataha sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam. Bhajante means worship. So until and unless we hear attentively and put it into practice, Prabhupada says, jnana is there, but we need to change it to vijnana, realization. Then only the effect will be there. So when we can understand that the bottom line is Krishna is all in all, he is the one who can bestow. We can only try, right? We can only try to surrender unto him. Try to surrender means we must put in our complete not surrender, endeavor. We have to completely, very sincerely endeavor on this path of bhakti. And once, we can please Guru and Krishna, then it becomes easier. Now it's not easy to please Guru and Krishna. What does Krishna want? He wants Guru to be pleased. What does Guru want? He wants devotees to be what? Huh? Yes, we need to please the devotees also. It starts from the bottom. When we please the devotees, then Lord Nityananda is pleased. When Lord Nityananda is pleased, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased, Radharani is pleased. And when Radharani is pleased, Krishna has to be pleased. There is no way out, right? So it starts with devotees. So that is why it's important that we associate with devotees. And how, the question will be how to please the devotees. Crack a joke so that they start laughing and they are happy. For how long? That just 1 minute, right? For y'all smiled only for a second and it was gone. Right? How to please the devotees? By serving them. Yes, and serving them. Yes, serving them. When we serve them, then we become humble. And when we become humble, then that pleases the devotees, right? So we have to serve them not with just service, but with love and devotion, not as a duty. Oh, today I heard in the class that I have to serve the devotees. Now let me just do it. Just go cook something. Here is a plate for you. No, it has to be with love and devotion and understand the reason behind service, right? That is very important. Let's take the next verse, number 28. Tahate apana bhakta gana kari sange prithvi te avatari karimo. Nana Range translation. Therefore, in the company of my devotees, I shall appear on earth and perform various colorful pastimes. See, colorful pastimes, not just pastimes. They are not dry pastimes. They are colorful and full of rasa. So even Krishna, we can see he's saying, I will come in the company of my devotees. Even Krishna wants to associate with his devotees. He also wants to associate, he wants to keep the company of devotees. He's showing us by example. Why did Srila Prabhupada insist on devotee association? We've heard this before in Mayapur, right? There was this devotee who did not like association of devotees. He wanted Shanti. He wanted to be alone. He said, let me, please build me a small hut and I will just chant there every day. No association. And then what was the result? He disappeared because there was no association of devotees. There was no, see what happens with devotee association is we get inspired and motivated, right? We see other devotees performing service and that helps us to increase our devotional service. So here Krishna also wants to be in the company of his devotees. Then we shouldn't say, I will keep in the company of my devotees, means those who worship me. No. Have to keep the association of devotees of Krishna. And the reason is because Prabhupada says that when we find different ways to associate, that is also an art, right? Especially in this country, if you just walk into someone's house, you cannot do that, right? The first expression will be, why are you here? Why didn't you call me? Don't we take an appointment, right? And sometimes you have to give few days in advance appointment, right? Not like me, last minute say, can you bring this for me? Can you do this for me? We need some intimation. So here it is important to understand that we need to find ways to associate with devotees. Find some, I won't say excuse, I won't use the word excuse, but somehow or the other, try and associate, whether it is on the phone, whether it is in person. There are some groups some group of devotees who meet regularly over the phone because it's not practical to meet, once a week also is a huge thing for us to drive and come for a class, but they meet on the phone. They chant together, they discuss Krishna Katha together, and they also discuss about what's going on in their spiritual life also. They just over the phone, their group of devotees, they just call, they have a fixed time for that conference call, and then this is how they associate. So when we find different ways to associate, then we learn from other devotees, we get inspired from them, and we also get motivated in that association. So here we see in this verse, Krishna does not come alone. He comes with his devotees. Why? So that he can perform colorful pastimes. Why should he perform colorful pastimes? So that we get attracted to those pastimes, right? If we hear that Damodar Leela, right? Those of us who are very fond of children, we feel so happy to hear that Damodar Leela, right? That little baby Krishna, with anklets, is running away from his mother, and the mother is running behind him. Yashoda Maya's hair is all disheveled, the gajra is fallen down, and she's panting and there is sweat. All this colorful pastime gives us pleasure. So that is the reason Krishna performs these pastimes, so that we can get attracted to him. So now Krishna is making so much effort to attract us towards him. So what should we do? Huh?
Get attracted.
Yes, reciprocate and get attracted. And how can we get attracted? Guru Maharaj says that if we chant our rounds attentively, I was listening to Balabhadra Prabhu's lecture. I think it was yesterday or day before, I'm not sure. It was on Wednesday. No, Wednesday was mine.
Next year after yours.
Thursday, yes, yes, Thursday, I think, yes. So I forgot the point, what I was going to
The
talk.
Prabhu class.
Yeah, but before that,
The attractions.
no, the point is gone. Chanting.
Chanting and then you start with the Bhavan.
Kali Yuga memory, zoom gone. It didn't even take a split second, and the thought is gone. All this happens in the mind, right? Mind is so powerful that it can do so many tricks on us, right? Don't we use the words, oh, my mind tricked me? We use that sometimes. That mind tricked me. Here is an example. It's gone completely. Talking about the mind, I remember hearing something yesterday in a lecture, and this is true. This is what happened in 1957. There was this gentleman, his name was Mr. Wright, and he lived in Los Angeles, California. And he was discovered with cancer, and he had a big tumor here under his chin. It was really big. So he went to Dr. West in Los Angeles, and the doctor said that, I'm sorry, there's nothing that can be done. You will live only for a few days. So this Mr. Wright was quite sad, no one likes to die. So, but then he came across an article in which it said that so and so medicine has been, there's a research, so and so medicine has come out. I mean, it has not yet come out, it's not yet approved, but it can cure this kind of cancer. He called Dr. West, said, look, here is this medicine and I want it. It doesn't matter how much it costs. But the doctor said, it's not yet approved. He said, I don't care. You have to get this medicine for me. So the medicine was somehow or the other, got. Anyone knows this about this? No. So the doctor started giving that injection to this patient. And the very next day, the tumor started reducing. This Mr. Wright was very happy, because even before the injection arrived, he was very happy that there was a cure. So then he was very happy, and then he was recovering fast. But within few days, he saw another article which said that actually this medicine doesn't have any effect. We are still researching. The very next day, the tumor was out again. It's true. It's true. So he was so dejected and distressed. Oh no, oh no. So then Dr. West, he told Mr. Wright that actually I have found another medicine which is going to definitely cure this. And so he said, okay, come on, bring it, give me that injection. Within 1 or 2 days, the doctor came and injected. Actually, he injected only salt water. But the tumor disappeared after 2 days. Because the patient was happy, the medicine is working, I found another medicine. Right? But then when he came to know it was just salt water again. And he died after 2 days. See how the mind works.
The power of positivity.
Exactly, power of positivity. So it's all in the mind. And this is something true. This happened in 1957.
So there is a similar story about one prisoner. They have to give the shot, the poison shots to kill him, right?
Right, poison shot, yes.
They want to test the mind and the subconscious mind. What they injected is just water.
Water.
And he thought that they already injected the poison. And he died actually.
Oh.
With that.
Just because the mind,
because
yes.
the mind is saying that they injected the poison, now I'm going to die in 5 minutes, and he died.
Exactly, yes.
It's something is it clear? I think
but then there's another one also. It is true that there was this person who was working on a freezer. On big trucks there are freezers, right? So he was working on that freezer, freezer had, conked off, it wasn't working. So he was trying to fix. And then he, just went around to get some tools. And there was this another gentleman who was, just walking by, and he saw, oh, the, freezer door is open. And he went to see what is inside, and the door closed. And he said, oh no, now I'm going to die. I'm in the freezer. And he died. So when after, eating lunch, when the mechanic, he came back and he opened the door to fix it, he found this person dead. He said, how is that possible? Freezer is not working.
Oh.
Freezer was not working. That's why he was repairing it. But see how the mind works. Oh, I'm in the freezer. It's freezing cold and I'm going to die.
I remember another story similar. Amma told me this one, that the wife, she was pregnant and about to deliver, and the husband was alone there, and he don't know how to do, what to do. He was just went outside and saw some Babaji was walking. He said, "Okay, Babaji, this is what is going on. Please help." I said, what I can do? I'm the Babaji, right? So he said, "Okay, I will write it down some in the paper. Just keep this one folded in your hand, and until that everything is done, don't open." So he wrote something and gave it to him. And he went inside. He was so positive that Babaji gave
something in the hand.
So everything went well. And after that, he opened the pudiya. It was written that, "मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ इसमें, जो
what can I do?"
So everything went well. So his mind is saying that Babaji gave something.
Yes,
so
yes. Exactly. It's all, so we can, from all this, we can understand how powerful the mind is. It's a very powerful tool. Krishna says you can make it your best friend or your worst enemy. So the choice is ours. Next verse. Eta bhavi kalikale prathama sandhyaya avatina haila Krishna apani nadiyaya. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Thinking thus, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna himself descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. Purport. In the Prathama Sandhya is the beginning of the age. According to astronomical calculation, the age is divided into 12 parts. The first of these 12 divisions is known as the Prathama Sandhya. The Prathama Sandhya and Shesha Sandhya, the last division of the preceding age, form the junction of the two ages. According to the Surya Siddhanta, the Prathama Sandhya of Kali Yuga lasts 36,000 solar years. Lord Chaitanya appeared in the Prathama Sandhya after 4,586 solar years of Kali Yuga had passed. So here we see the reference. First reference is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, the personality of Godhead, Krishna himself. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself. And the second is he appeared in Kali Yuga, in the in the beginning, the Pratham Sandhya of Kali Yuga. So where did he appear? He appeared in Nadia. The reference is given of the place also, just like in Bhagavatam. We have reference of the next incarnation, which is Kalki incarnation, which is going to come towards the end of Kali Yuga. The name of the village and the name of his parents is already given in Srimad Bhagavatam of the future, right? Which is 427,000 years from now. So where is he going to appear? In Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, when? This is the proof in scriptures. And it says after 4,586 solar years of Kali Yuga had passed. So exact time also is given, right? It is not just random. It is not some guesswork. It is very bona fide knowledge. Next verse. Chaitanya Simhera Navadvipe Avatara Simhagriva Simhavirya Simhera Hunkara. Translation. Thus the lion-like Lord Chaitanya has appeared in Navadvipa. He has the shoulders of a lion, the powers of a lion, and the loud voice of a lion. Why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here referred as lion-like? Because he is not different from Nrsimhadev. See, right? Lord Nrsimhadev is the incarnation of Krishna. And here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. So there is no difference at all. There is very nice reference in Chaitanya Charitamrita. When we go to chapter 17, we will see these references where it says, one day the Lord ordered Srivas Thakur to read the Brihat Sahasranam, the 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, for he wanted to hear them at that time. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 17, verse 91, it says, as he read the 1,000 names of the Lord, in due course, the holy name of Lord Narsimha appeared. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the holy name of Lord Narsimha, he became fully absorbed in that thought. In the mood of Lord Narsimha Dev, Lord Chaitanya ran through the city streets, club in hand, ready to kill all the atheists. There was no Hiranyakashipu at that time, right? 540 years ago, there was no Hiranyakashipu. So he just took a club and he started running to kill the atheists. Seeing him appearing very fierce in the ecstasy of Lord Narasimha, people ran from the street and fled here and there, afraid of his anger. Seeing the people so afraid, the Lord came to his external senses and thus returned to the house of Srivas Thakur and threw away the club. How merciful. He just, he couldn't stand to see people so afraid and, so like running here and there, running away from the Lord. The Lord became morose and said to Srivas Thakur, when I adopted the mood of Lord Narasimhadev, people were greatly afraid. Therefore, I stopped, since causing fear among people is an offense. How very powerful. Causing fear in people is an offense. So when we approach someone with the thought of creating fear in that other person is an offense, whether it is, roll your sleeves and say, now let me see, look at me, I'm going to do this to you and that to you. That is causing fear in someone else's mind. So he says that is an offense. Srivas Thakur replied, anyone who takes your holy name vanquishes 10 million of his offenses immediately. There was no offense in your appearing as Narasimhadev. Rather, any man who saw you in that mood was immediately liberated from the bondage of material existence. After saying this, Srivas Thakur worshipped the Lord, who was then greatly satisfied and returned to his own home. How much we learned with just this small pastime, right? One pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Lord Narasimha Dev. We have heard that pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? When Hiranyakashipu was killed, right? Killed by Lord Narasimha Dev. He was still in that angry mood. He was like so angry. And no one could pacify the Lord. Lord Brahma was afraid, Lord Shiva was afraid, Lakshmi also was afraid, didn't want to go anywhere near. Said, I'm going to go to my husband only after he's pacified. I'm not going to go. We experience that, right? When we say we, I don't mean we. I mean people in general. Our husbands don't scare us, with a club in hand, or something, or wanting to tear us apart. No. But the point is that when the husband is angry, even the wife doesn't want to go near. Or if she will go near, she'll go with the favorite dish in hand. Right? What does he like? Let me make that and, present it. And then immediately the anger will go down looking at those nice gulab jamuns or whatever, right? To pacify. But Prahlad Maharaj, just that 5-year-old boy, not at all afraid of Lord Narasimhadev, right? He was not at all afraid. He just approached Lord Narasimhadev, and Lord Narasimhadev picked him up and kept him on his lap and apologized to him for coming late. Right? The Lord had come late, isn't it? In the meantime, so many, distress and sufferings were, put on Prahlad Maharaj, right? Boiling in the hot oil, burning in with holika, and throwing from top of the hill, or whatever. Just so many tribulations Prahlad Maharaj had to go through, but he was fearless. Why was he so fearless? He was fully dependent on the Lord. And he knew that his Lord is always going to protect him no matter what. He was 100% sure. He did not even have a tinge of doubt that, oh, I told Hiranyakashipu, God is in the pillar. Is he really in the pillar? Will he come out of the pillar or not? What if he doesn't come out? Then what will happen? My father will make a kachumbar of me. He will break me into small pieces and throw me. He had full faith. Yes, Lord is everywhere. Why not in the pillar? He is in the pillar also. Next verse, number 31. Sei simha vasuk jivera hridaya kandare kalmasha dviradnashe yanhara hunkare. May that lion be seated in the core of the heart of every living being. Thus, with his resounding roar, may he drive away one's elephantine vices. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can help us to remove the vices in our heart. So, first step is we need to recognize that we do have vices. What are those vices? Lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. We do have it, maybe in little degree or larger degree or whatever, but we do have that in our heart. And what can Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? Like Lord Nrsimha Dev ripped apart the that Hiranyakashipu. Similarly, he can also rip our heart and remove all these anarthas from our heart. So first is identify what are the vices in the heart. Secondly, acknowledge. That is very difficult, right? If we are proud, it is very difficult to acknowledge, yes, I am proud. If someone says, how proud you are, we say, I think you are proud, not me, you. You're talking about yourself. No. So first, identify, that acknowledge, and then work on it. Yeah, I'm proud. Fine. That's okay. No, we got to work on it. How do we work on it? We sincerely pray to the Lord to help us. We pray to Lord Nrsimha Dev to make us fearless, to remove all the anarthas from our heart, from the core of the heart. Remove them all and help us to become purified. Next verse. प्रथम लीलाय तांड्र विश्वंभर नाम भक्ति रसे भरिला धरिला भूतग्रामा. Translation. In his early pastimes, he is known as Vishwambhara because he floods the world with the nectar of devotion and thus saves the living beings. That is the purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming to us in Kali Yuga on this earthly planet, to save us from Maya. So that means we need to acknowledge I am in Maya. We have to acknowledge that. And now that we acknowledged it, what are we doing about it? Are we happy being a friend of Maya? Is it very, very comfortable position? Like we are relaxing in a clubhouse with a drink in our hand, and a cigarette in another hand. No. Prabhupada says this material world is not a clubhouse. It's not where we relax. No, we have to work hard. Here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming, has come just to save us, to guide us, to show us how to perform loving devotional service, to give us nectar of devotion. And that is Harer Nam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. That is where all the nectar is. And that is why we take this dosage of nectar every day. Now, if we don't take this chanting of Hare Krishna every day, then the anarthas are not going to go anywhere. And he says he will flood. He has come to flood the world with nectar of devotion. So all we need to do is just bathe in it. Right? When we go to Vrindavan, what do? Excuse me. We want to bathe in the Yamuna. We want to bathe in Radha Kund, which is, we should just take a little water and put it on our head, right? But the Vrajavasis who live there, they bathe in Shamakund and Radhakund. So when here this whole flood of nectar of devotion is given to us by Lord Chaitanya, then all we need to do is just bathe in those holy waters. That is the immerse ourselves in the holy name. And that will start only when we chant attentively without committing any offenses. Let's see the next verse. Dubrin dhatura artha poshana dharana pushila dharila prema diya tribhuvana. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The verbal root dubran, which is the root of the word Vishwambhara, indicates nourishing and maintaining. He, Lord Chaitanya, nourishes and maintains the three worlds by distributing love of God. That's so merciful, so kind. He's come to nourish us. Not only just nourish us, but also to maintain us. So simple method is he just distributed love of God free. Unfortunately, when we get something for free, we don't have any value for it, right? If we pay money for something, then we say, oh, this is really very valuable. I must use it. I have spent my hard-earned money. I have never understood the meaning of hard-earned. What is hard-earned money? Is it rock? Is the money very hard? Working very hard. Prabhupada is like an ass with a carrot hanging in front of us. If only I walk a little more, that carrot will be mine. But the carrot will never be ours. Why? Because it's stuck on a stick. It's on a stick. So when the ass moves, the stick also moves. The carrot also moves, right? So here a simple method is given to us that all we have to do is take advantage of this love of God that is being distributed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came, he did not demand anything. He just said, just chant and you will be liberated. When Krishna came, big demands. Man mana bhav mad bhakto mad yaji nam mam namaskuru. You have to offer obeisances to me. You have to only chant my name. You have to offer everything to me. All those demands, right? And finally he says, abandon everything and just come to me. Worship me. Yad karoshi yad ashnashi. Whatever you do, do it for me. Those were the demands of Krishna. He said, then I will free you from all sinful reactions. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, did he say anything? No demands at all. He was just distributing. Imagine if I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have $16 million. I don't, I'm just saying, hypothetically. I know, I made you happy for a minute, but I made myself sad. I'll tell you why. Because here I am, I'm going to freely distribute $1 million to each of you. What will you think? Jhootha note. Must be fake money, right? Why would you give me $1 million for nothing? Right? That is the mentality. Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu giving free love, free devotion, free holy name. No, there must be some catch to it. No, he gave it freely. And such a valuable mantra he gave us. He gave us something without demanding anything in return, something that can take us back to Godhead, where we belong, our original home. So we are very, very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has given us these books. He has given us the very simple process of Krishna consciousness that can help us go back to Godhead. All we have to do is understand how lucky we are and not only just take it, but also distribute it to others. Distribute this holy name to others. Yes, it is not easy to preach. We have to come out of the comfort zone, right? When we go out for book distribution, is it easy to just approach someone and say, take a Bhagavad Gita? No, you need a lot of guts. But more than that, you need surrender. You need that mood that I am not the book distributor. It is Krishna within the heart that is guiding me to distribute, and Krishna within the heart of the other person guiding that person to accept that book. All Krishna is wanting to see is, are we ready to take that challenge? Are we ready to take that first step, right? Ye yatha ma prapadyante tam satheva bhajamiham. As one surrenders unto me, I reward them accordingly. So he's waiting for us to take that first step. So what did we learn in all these verses today from 26 to 33? That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come down just to save us. We just need to hop on the boat of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is going to steer that boat on the other side of the ocean, cross this material ocean, and take us back to Godhead. And in the boat also, he has given us a bona fide spiritual master who can guide us, who can guide the boat, and both Guru and Krishna can take us across. Right. The only thing is, we need to have that firm faith in the Lord, because whatever we have in this world, whatever possessions we have, whatever family, friends, society we have, everything is going to be left behind. Even our money is going to stay home. Do you all remember watching that small video of Shivaram Maharaj? It was posted some time back on Antonio Montero, right? The second person who died in Spain of COVID-19. You all didn't see that video? It was posted in, I think, Atlanta Devotee Sangha. It was posted. So, Antonio Montero was 73 years old, and he was the chairman of the big bank in Spain, Santander Bank. And he got COVID and he was in hospital. He died in the hospital alone. And his daughter writes that we are a very wealthy family. We have lots of money. But my father died alone in the hospital while the money stayed at home. Money could not save him. Shivaram Maharaj explains that the air is free, right? We don't pay any money for the air that we breathe. But he died lack of air, which is free. Money could not help him, right? So we must understand that these scriptures that we have got, we are so fortunate that we have access to them. Not everybody has access to Krishna consciousness, right? So many of them are still suffering, but we are fortunate we have access to the spiritual knowledge. So we should take it very, very seriously, not just seriously, but very, very seriously, and somehow or the other become more and more serious day by day in this path of spiritual knowledge, on in this path of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada says, make this our last birth, finish our business and go back to Godhead, because there's no guarantee what we will be in the next life, and if we will have access to these scriptures. If we do, will we take it up, right? By the time our mind would work in the other direction, where we would be only interested in making money. That's it. So we should take to this very seriously. So I'm going to end here. If anyone has any questions.